Hi, everybody. I am indoors on a sunny day. I was beading outdoors, but it got actually too warm, believe it or not, in my outside where I was working. It doesn't usually get that warm in this part of the country, but it did today, I'm happy to say. But and so it was fun while it lasted to actually bead outdoors. I want to give you an update about what I'm up to, what I'm working on, the leg. Well, I finished one leg, now I'm working on another leg. So I will do a screen share. I'll adjust my camera accordingly so you can see what I'm working on. And here we go. I'll tell you a little more about it. Um, get my reading glasses out of the way. The um, the first leg, again, for people who haven't seen my work too often before or at all, is hollow. It's probably going to stay that way. I might find something to stuff it with, but I use doubled thread. Let me get the camera better in better focus now. Okay. And and because I use doubled thread, every bead has a minimum of 4 threads going through it. So that pretty much stuffs the holes full of thread and makes for a pretty relatively rigid surface. There's some give there, but it's pretty solid. The techniques I use to make it are sculptural bead weaving techniques that involve, for knitters, in knitting, you use decreasing and increasing. Well, you use decreasing and increasing in bead weaving too. There's something to make a knee bend that I call using artificially induced up beads, and my students will know about that. And again, the rest, other than the knee bend, are examples of going from 3 beads to 2 beads, to eventually to 1 bead, to make a decrease. I'm simplifying a little bit because I don't want to bore the heck out of you for if you're not into the technical aspect of this. But this is going to be a leg. This is going to be the other leg. The other leg is not going to be straight. It's going to be bent more than the other leg. So I'm going to use a different technique to bend it, because the one technique that I used to bend this leg only bends it so far. And I use that technique twice. So that's, unless I do it a third time on this one, I'm not going to get any more bend out of it. So I'm going to use an entirely different technique. But for now, I'm still, and I will put my little reading glasses on to do this, I'm still basically doing 3 beads at a time, string 3 beads, pass over 3 beads or skip 3 beads. And I have to be judicious about this because I want to decrease, and it's going to be a little lumpy, but I don't want it to be that lumpy. So I'm having to pick and choose my beads. And if I wanted to be faster about it, I would have to basically accept a lumpier surface. Um, but basically that's what I do, hundreds and hundreds of times and around in a circle. String 3 beads, skip 3 beads, go through 3 beads. If I come up to a spot that has 2 beads to skip, I string 2 beads. And if I have the beads that are coming up there are only 2 of them there, I go through 2. See how they're laid up and down like that? So I just kind of decide as I go. Okay, do I want to decrease here? Do I want two wide beads and then go through 3? Do I want 2 beads or 1 beads here? If I do 1 bead, I'm going to get a more sudden shrinking of the leg. Um, if I think I've been decreasing a little too fast, then I just don't do anything different for a row and it starts to normalize. So, as simple as this might look, there are lots of different little nuances and choices. I make little micro decisions as I go, every stitch I make, and that I have to, and as I work, I have to make these little micro decisions. And each of those little micro decisions does have an effect on the piece. So just want to give you a little insight as to what the intricacies are of this medium, and also to let you know that I am now working on this piece for an exhibit in October at Mobilia Gallery. Mobilia Gallery is a wonderful art jewelry gallery that is located in Cambridge, Massachusetts. They have a website, Mobilia, MOBILIA gallery.com, that you can visit. Wonderful show exhibits all year round. And I'm very honored to partake in this exhibit. One thing I should note, however, is they want not only what this piece is going to become, but two more between now and October. And although it sounds like that's a lot of time because this is uh, early May, it is not. And what I want to emphasize really is that your support on Patreon means a huge amount to me because I am working on speculation. I have no idea whether the pieces that I send to Mobilia Gallery in October will sell. However, I started working on these pieces in March, and I'm going to be working on these pieces for a total of 6 months. And that is my working time. So your support on Patreon helps sustain me during this time when uh, I'm just working and hoping that I can complete these pieces in time for the exhibit. And then once they're at the exhibit, hoping that they sell. So this is something that a lot of artists deal with and face in their working life. That is why so many artists have day jobs. And, full disclosure, I have some income coming from my bead shop on Etsy.com. In fact, I'll do a screen share for that because if you're unable to support me on Patreon, but you like beads, you can always go to Etsy and buy beads from me. Oops. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I will find it for you. It is coming up. Oops. I probably put my middle initial in there. Okay, here we go. So basically what my point is that uh, Etsy helps sustain me. Sometimes I sell beads on Etsy. That is a thing that I don't, it sustains me in between sales of artwork. So if you like, by all means, I love it. I love your support on Patreon. It really helps sustain my artistic practice and helps me make figural pieces. And again, I will finally do a reveal once I make more of this piece, and I have to reveal what it's turning into. But also, I sell the raw materials that I work with on Etsy to sustain me in the meantime because um, these are the pieces that I make, and I'll even go to my website to show you. Um, and I will be completely frank with you, my work is not cheap. And that is because I will do a screen share so you can see what I'm looking at. Because what I do is expensive, but part of my motivation is that I want to do things that can't be easily replicated anywhere. And I don't want to have to compete with people who are making piecework in countries where a dollar stretches a lot farther than it does in America. And I want to honor those people who are working and making wonderful work without competing with them directly. In other words, I don't need to try to, I'm not going to, have a workshop overseas where I tell people what to make and have them make it over and over again. There's already enough of that going on. And for my own work, I would rather, I learned this in an exhibit, a bead show long ago that it's more in my, it's more interesting to me to make things that nobody in their right mind would try to replicate than it is to try to do production work that can possibly be easily duplicated. So that's why I go for pieces like this one. Oh, here we go. Oh, oh. I did something funny. Oh well, that's all right. Um, let's see if I can make this bigger. I don't know if, oh, here we go. Plus, I'll hit the plus button. So yes, pieces like this are one of a kind. I like to stick to one of a kind work. And I respect the people who don't make one of a kind work. I respect the people, whether no matter where they are in the world, because they're doing creative work. And I love I love it when people can do creative work and sustain the practice of doing their creative work. So, on that happy note, I do want to emphasize how much I appreciate your help. And that includes people who give me money to make videos every month and make things like this and when I have the time for it. And that includes people who don't have the money to give me money every month, but are still interested enough to actually watch a video like this. And also, I hope for your sake that you, whether you're doing a creative practice right now, right this minute, or right now in life or not, that you realize that your very existence is an act of creativity. It is worthy, and you are, I'm glad you're here. In any case, not to be all Pollyanna-ish, but I appreciate everything everybody does, and I hope you appreciate what I do. And I figure if you made it this far into the video, you probably do a little, at least a little bit. All right, see you next time. Take it easy. Bye.